Hey, Miami. In our sun-soaked city, this is where the beaches are hot, but the gossip is even hotter. Welcome to another episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Manny, and today we're unraveling the mystery of our beloved city's love affair with drama. Did you hear about what happened at Dolphin Mall? What about the aliens in Bayside? No, you didn't. Well, that's because it never happened. But hey, we Miami folks sure acted like it did. So buckle up and get your cafecito ready, and we're going to get into the hilarious world of some drama addiction. Are we just fun-loving souls or just a bunch of chisme champions? Let's find out on this podcast episode. I don't know about you, but I've been living in the city long enough and follow all the big pages of Miami, see all the things that come up on the news, all the comments, all the things that people like. I've studied this city, and one thing that I love is that our city loves to chisme. Our city really enjoys bringing up something dramatic and sharing that drama with locals. It's almost our way of coming together. It's our way of lying to each other, but making it worthwhile, because at the end of the day, we all participated in the conversation. And that's kind of cool. But on the other side of that, you can't help but wonder if we're a gullible city. I don't know if it's our upbringing. I don't know if it's our Latina grandmother back in the day always looking out the window and knowing what the neighbors are doing. And then as soon as she finds out a little piece of information, she's got to tell all the other neighbors about it. But it might be an assumption and it might not be 100% correct, but the whole neighborhood already made their minds up based on what she said. Something like that. And what's going on with social media, especially local social media here in the city of Miami, is that if enough people talk about it, if one person records it and comes up with some sort of narrative, everybody just jumps on the bandwagon and wants to participate on that assumption. Was it because when we were young, we would spend quality time together and watch telenovelas, aka soap operas, and watch other people act out dramatic scenes on Univision? Or was it that news show, Primer Impacto? Now, that wasn't really a news show. It was more like drama and gossip and, hey, this could happen to you. But still, we participated in those discussions because it made us feel excited and made us tune in. There was no reason for our city to actually believe that there were 10-foot aliens walking around in Bayside in the beginning of the year. But enough people went online and started sharing what they saw as if they wanted to participate in the lie. And they said it with enough drama and emotion and specifics. And if you do that in a Spanglish accent, believe me, we will empathize with you. It's almost like we were right there with you. We want to believe. We want that kind of excitement happening in our city because it gives us a topic to talk about. You know how they say how Miami is one of the fun cities to visit in America? Well, so is our online community, because all we're really doing is just spreading drama. It's almost like daytime TV all over again, but only we're the participants in the audience of that Jerry Springer episode. I knew that story about the 10-foot aliens in Bayside got way out of hand when even the cops participated in discussing that it didn't happen. Officially, on their Instagram page with the blue check mark. Miami didn't ask any questions. Miami didn't ask to see the cameras, to see the CCTV footage. They didn't go around asking if people took a photo or at least a selfie with the aliens in Bayside, which is kind of hard to believe. But it's not about believing in our city when it comes to drama. It's about feeling. If you get us in our emotions, it happened no matter what. And we're going to make sure it happened, even if it's just in our imagination. I think it's because everyone in Miami wants to be someone, and going online is a really good way of doing it, even if it means you're just an influencer for a day. I think that's what it takes. Everybody should have an opportunity to get a lot of attention, no matter what it is you talk about. It's all about getting points and all about getting the spotlight for a little while. That's what we should do in Miami. We should start be an influencer for a day competitions where big pages allow the people of Miami to come up with some random story that they made off the top of their head, and based on how good that story is, they share it online, and then they see if it sticks, right? Like if enough people believe on that story based on how emotional it is, maybe we can make it like a contest. We're like, all right, guys, this really didn't happen, but this person said it well enough for us to believe it, so let's give them some props and some follows. And who knows, maybe you could win like some sort of social clout lottery that way. Because when it comes to getting attention online, it's not really about what you say or do sometimes. It's more about just you being in the spotlight for a little while. And it could be things like maybe you want your ex to see you doing so well. Or maybe you lost a lot of weight and you want to show your high school friends how good you look, but they're not following you on social media, or maybe the algorithm doesn't show you their selfies. And so what they got to do is they got to resort to lying online in order for them to get some traction. Everyone wants some sort of attention one way or another. And here in Miami is probably one of the best ways to get it, especially online. The worst part about this, though, is when the bigger pages try to feed the lie to you. They put up sensational headlines on their timeline and they make it seem as if maybe they got the footage of something that happened in Dolphin Mall that only they have. But in order for you to see it, you got to follow this other page. And then everyone actually goes to that page and then realize they've been duped, but they're following it anyway. And then they just start feeding you lies from then on out. You know, things that never really happened. Remember when you used to walk into the grocery store, you would get a bunch of food, and then as you go on your way to the aisles, those were the tabloids that were on the side of the cashier. That's what social media is doing now in the city of Miami, because you know that we would always reach out for one of those magazines and give it to our Latina grandma. It's almost as if they passed down that trait to us, where we just want to know what's a really good lie to believe in. Like, what's something that makes us really feel something, even if it's not real. Even when the majority debunked about what happened at Dolphin Mall regarding a shooting, which didn't occur, people were still kind of excited of the fact that we believed that for a little while. It's almost like we took a quick hit, right? Like a little trastazo. And we all enjoyed it. We all just got off that roller coaster ride of why is everyone running in Dolphin? And did you hear the sounds? I was at the Ross when it happened. Everyone was just kind of adding their own narrative. And then they were just like, well, I heard something. Something happened. I mean, I don't know. If enough people start running, we're going to run too. It's just what it is. And when something really sensational happens, and we've been lied to a lot about it happening before, is it like the boy crying wolf? Where you say something happened enough times and it didn't happen, and then one day it really happens, and then we don't believe it. And if it did happen, people are going to be like, well, then it's a hoax. That kind of stuff. What if aliens really did visit Miami? Will it come to the point where, well, we've been there before, and I'm not going to believe it this time? Are we going to treat them like tourists? Are we not going to be as excited because it already passed that one time in Bayside? But it'd just be underwhelming at a point where something amazing would happen in our city, and it just wouldn't do it for us anymore because we already lied to each other about it happening before. I would say that we should start putting some laws in place for people that spread misinformation or people that try to use social media as a way to get likes by misinforming the public. But if we enjoy it, what could really go wrong? I mean, it's just topics of conversation whenever we don't have anything to say. If you ever get stuck in an elevator with somebody and you got to start a conversation, you could be like, hey, did you hear about what happened at Dolphin Mall for the 4th time? Maybe this is something that could benefit us as a community. As I mentioned before, maybe we can come together and have actual topics of conversation and we can get along. All those times we share the road rage and all those times we go online and start talking about politics and what we believe in and what our values are, at least gossip and drama can bring us together. That is it for this episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you guys like, share, comment, do all that good stuff. Follow us on all the social media platforms, and I'll see you on the next episode.